SCP-682, the indestructible lizard they keep trying to kill? Yes, SCP-682, the Foundation's favorite punching bag, and possibly their biggest. Why are we still doing this? Experiment. Imagine a giant, hateful lizard with the regenerative abilities of 10 Deadpools and the attitude of your worst ex. The Foundation captured it once, barely, and instead of locking it up and saying, "We're done," they decided to test ways to kill it. Spoiler alert. Every single test ended with catastrophic failure. They've tried acid, fire, explosions, terminators, SCP cross tests, and once even dropped SCP-173 into the same room. The result? 173 was destroyed. The lizard laughed. 682 doesn't just survive. It adapts. If you shoot it, it evolves bulletproof skin. Burn it, it breathes fire. Insult it, and it develops self-esteem issues? Okay, maybe not that one, but close. The moral? Don't mess with an apex predator that hates all life equally. The Foundation's official notes literally say, termination attempts have been aborted due to failure. Translation, we gave up. Please stop sending interns. CPO-96, the do not look at me disaster. You'd think the Foundation would learn to keep photos of dangerous entities offline, but nope. Meet SCP-96, the shy guy, a pale, skinny humanoid that gets insanely violent if anyone sees its face, even by accident. So naturally, someone took a picture. Then someone else looked at that picture. Then satellites picked it up. Then hundreds of people accidentally saw it online. What happened next? Mass carnage. 96 tracked every single viewer across the planet, ripping through walls, mountains, and maybe a Wi-Fi router or two. Containment notes now read, no photos, no videos, no memes. So yes, the Foundation literally banned screenshots. But considering how 96 once broke into a secure base halfway across the globe to kill one random guy who saw a pixel of his face, I'd say fair enough. The mistake? Letting a camera anywhere near this guy? The result? Global paranoia and a lot of shredded scientists. SCP-1730, what the hell happened to Site-13? Picture this, the Foundation receives a distress signal from one of its old sites. Except, surprise, that site doesn't exist anymore. It's been gone for decades. Yet somehow, a fully functional building labeled Site-13 appears in Texas out of nowhere, broadcasting for help. Inside, everything's wrong. Time loops. Mutated corpses. Weird writing that says, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world, classic SCP horror. Turns out the place slipped in from an alternate reality where the Foundation basically nuked itself by experimenting on reality warping. SCPs, think of it like a parallel universe version of the Foundation's worst mistakes, greatest hits album. Exploration teams went in. Most didn't come back. One survivor said the building itself wanted to be found, like a haunted house begging for new tenants. Mistake number 3, the Foundation can't resist poking parallel universes, even when they're clearly labeled Do Not Enter. SCP-008, the zombie virus they kept for research. You'd think after the first zombie outbreak, any sane organization would destroy the source, right? Not the SCP Foundation. CP-008 is basically the zombie virus from every horror movie ever, except it's real. And they keep it in a secure facility for study. The file literally says, infection is 100% fatal and irreversible, yet the Foundation's plan? Lock it in a freezer and hope no one sneezes on it. They even stored samples at multiple sites because, quote, redundancy is important. Redundancy in what? Exactly apocalypses? It's airborne, contagious, and has no cure. So naturally, one day the power failed at a storage site. You can imagine how well that went. Spoiler, hazmat suits didn't help. Moral of the story, don't refrigerate pandemics. Especially not the undead kind. CP-3999, when a researcher became the SCP. So what happens when an SCP researcher gets a little too close to his project? In this case, he became the project. SCP-3999 is essentially, I am in hell and it's my fault, the reality edition. Dr. Talleyrand was just studying anomalies like any other overworked scientist, when suddenly, boom, reality shattered around him. He got trapped in an endless cycle of torture created by a cosmic entity that seemed to enjoy turning him into furniture, planets, or a worm with self-awareness. Every time he tried to fix it, the loop restarted. Here's the kicker: the entity was the Foundation. Or maybe Talleyrand himself. Or maybe both. Nobody knows. But one thing's for sure: when the Foundation experiments on the fabric of reality, it tends to tear. So next time your coworker says, let's push the limits of science, maybe just say, let's not. SCP-953, the kitsune that outsmarted everyone. Meet SCP-953, also known as the Foundation's Foxy Disaster. She's a shapeshifting Korean fox demon with a taste for chaos and human flesh. The Foundation caught her. Great start. Then she escaped. Then they caught her again. Then she escaped again. You get the idea. Her powers? Anything she wants. She can look like your best friend, your boss, or that one barista who knows your order. And just when you start to trust her, she tears your spine out like she's unplugging a USB. The Foundation once tried behavioral conditioning, because teaching a demon empathy works so well. She played along, acted reformed, and then, during a routine test, murdered half the staff and vanished. Containment note: do not engage in conversation. Translation: she will out-talk you into your grave. CPO-76, the Let's Make a Super Soldier Project. SCP-076. Abel, he's basically an immortal warrior who wakes up angry every time he dies. The Foundation thought, hey, maybe we can use him. So they built him an apartment, gave him weapons, and hired him as a field agent. For a while, it worked. Then someone annoyed him. Long story short, he killed everyone in a 2-mile radius, destroyed a containment wing, and left a note saying, do not disturb. Turns out giving an unkillable murder machine combat assignments was not a sustainable HR decision. They locked him back up in a giant cube inside another cube surrounded by explosives, because nothing says, we trust you, like an apartment made of bombs. Mistake number 7. Trying to turn a literal god of war into an employee of the month. SCP-231, the ritual they can never stop. And finally, SCP-231, the one mistake the Foundation doesn't even like to talk about. It started with 7 girls, all pregnant with something not quite human. The Foundation captured them after stopping a cult, the Children of the Scarlet King, from summoning their god. Only one girl is still alive. SCP-231-7. To keep the world from ending, the Foundation performs something called Procedure 110 Montauk on her daily. No one outside Level 4 clearance knows what it is. All we know is that it's horrifying and it's working barely. The mistake? Believing they could contain a god's wrath with pain and secrecy. Some researchers say the procedure doesn't stop the apocalypse, it fuels it. But if they stop, the Scarlet King might finally arrive. The ultimate lose-lose situation. So yeah, the SCP Foundation might be humanity's last hope. But sometimes it feels like they're also its biggest problem. They poke every monster, argue with every god, and then act surprised when the universe starts melting. But hey, someone's gotta keep the lights on in the apocalypse. If you made it this far without being turned into SCP furniture, hit that like button before 682 regenerates and wrecks the comments section.